Hello, everyone. I know I haven't posted in a really long time, and I deeply apologize. I've been busy with school and shit, but enough about me. We're going to talk about the Tanner Horner case trial. Hi, everyone. Quick editor's post. I'm doing this while editing. I forgot to say this in the beginning. I said it like halfway through, but I'm going to say it really quickly before you guys continue. This is going to be heavy topic. I had to take multiple breaks during research and editing. If this is gonna be too heavy for you, you guys can feel free to totally come back next week. No one's holding you here, okay? Always take care of yourself first. Okay, bye, love y'all. My first time doing a video like this, but I think this is something I need to do. And I will make another one next week about Mackenzie Shirilla and that case. But we're gonna start with this one. It's gonna be relatively long, and I deeply apologize for that. Let's get into it. I'm screen recording, so it will be put right there so you guys can see my screen. I'm reading it fact for fact and video for video, and I'm going to show you guys basically what I found. Sorry if this is not how your favorite YouTubers usually do it. This is just how I'm doing it. Okay. Tanner Horner case / trial. We're going to start with some basic facts. Athena Strand's body was found December 2nd, 2022, 2 days after she was kidnapped on November 30th, 2022. Her cause of death was determined to be blunt force injuries with smothering and strangulation. Tanner Lynn Horner was born on August 8th, 1991. One of the quotes I found really important was, Horner has already pled guilty to killing a 7-year-old Athena Strand. Jurors are now deciding whether he will face the death penalty or life without parole. Horner has already been sentenced to death for the 2022 kidnapping and killing and murder / killing of 7-year-old Athena Strand. The trial concluded on May 5th, 2026, when Tyran, not sure I'm pronouncing that right, court jury deliberated for less than 3 hours before recommending the death penalty after Horner pled guilty to capital murder and aggravated kidnapping. Horner, a former FedEx driver, was abducted Athena Strand on November 30th, 2022, in Wise County, Texas, after accidentally striking her with his delivery truck. Graphic audio and videos from his truck recorded Athena's final moments, during which Horner told her to take off her shirt and later strangled her. We're going to stop right there. So first of all, we have he accidentally hit her. He could have called her parents and be like, hey, yo, I accidentally hit her. He could have taken her to the hospital, but he didn't. That's iffy to me. So he already pled guilty to capital murder. That's just basic information I just read before that. Graphic audio and video from his truck. Basically, he probably did some questionable things to her. He asked her to take off her shirt. Remember that. That's going to be very important later. Which is very concerning because she's a 7-year-old, a child. You could be falsified for a pedophile. Strangling her, diabolical and disgusting. I hope this man rots in prison. Although his defense presented mitigating evidence, sorry about that, regarding his autism, fetal alcohol syndrome exposure, and lead toxicity, the jury found no grounds for life without parole, citing that the probability that Horner would commit future violent crimes. He remains in custody at the Tarrant County Jail, awaiting transfer to the Texas Department. Okay, so that tells us if the jury's on our side, that tells us that the jury thinks that he will commit murder again or he will commit violent crimes again, which I fully agree with. I think that, sorry, I'm trying to like find words to describe how I feel about this shit, which is disgusting. He awaits trial exposure, so like the fetal alcoholic syndrome exposure and lead toxicity and autism. Yeah, that's like, okay, his life's fucked up, shit happened to him, but he knows his difference between left and right. He is an adult. He That doesn't affect his decision making. That doesn't affect how his cognitive thinking. So that's no fucking excuse, Horner. Fuck you. Moving on. Sexual assault allegations. Okay. Two unidentified women testified that Horner sexually assaulted them when they were minors, 14 and 16. Additionally, a rebuttal witness identified as his cousin Billy alleged that Horner sexually assaulted him as a child and had previously expressed curiosity about killing somebody. Okay, that tells us that he has sexually assaulted someone multiple different times, both minors, female minors, 14 and 16, without consent. So that shows that he probably also assaulted Athena Strand sexually because he asked her to take off her shirt and then strangled her. Who knows if he did it with the corpse or while she was alive, and we don't have video evidence of that. This shows that he has a history of that with his cousin. First of all, that's incest. So his cousin Billy as well. So that's three allegations of sexual assault, murder, strangulation, kidnapping. Three accounts of sexual assault, allegations of sexual assault, murder, and kidnapping. His list is growing, but I'm just saying, like, that shows us that he might have sexually assaulted Athena Strand, and who's a minor, 7 years old, way younger than any of them. Although it doesn't say how old Billy was, and I hope that they're doing all okay, but I'm utterly disgusted coming from a minor. Um, Future danger. To counter the death penalty, the defense called a jailhouse witness who testified that Horner was not violent in custody and struggled socially. Posting no future danger, prosecutors challenged this by presenting evidence of Horner's premeditation, including covering his truck cameras, searching for missing girl images online. So what that shows us is that, one, the witness could have been paid. Two, covering his truck cameras is like he knows that that could be used against him in the future. So he's covering up his tracks to make sure he looks innocent or it cannot be convicted. It failed, but he was thinking methodically. And if any of you guys don't know what premeditation meant, it's like he thought about it. He thought about every single step from point A to point B, like A, B, C through Z. Like he thought about every single little detail. And that shows us that he thought about it and this was planned and that was his victim, when it could have been any other girl, but it would have happened either way, whether it be Athena or not. Forensic evidence. A DNA analysis testified that a male DNA was found on Athena Strand's body, I'm assuming. That's just, I don't know why. I may have done a grammar and spelling mistake. I apologize. Anyway, found on Athena Strand's body sexually. A sexual assault kit and a blood and biological evidence were present on Horner's FedEx shirt, contradicting his denials of sexual assault. What that shows us, again, is that when he asked, we scroll back up here for a little bit, he said to her, if I can find it, told her to take off her shirt. So when he told her to take off her shirt, that also says that he might have sexually assaulted her because he has 3 past sexual assault allegations, so that's not out of his normal. And then DNA was found on her that showed that it was male DNA, so it showed that like somebody touched her in ways they shouldn't have. Horner. Horner. Anyway, so that shows us that he might have assaulted her. Not confirmed, but most probably. And it was also found on his shirt, so we can assume cross contamination, close bodies, you know. Or it might have been. We don't know though. Don't take my word for it for legal purposes. This is only my thoughts and processes and evidence that has been confirmed in court / things we have found in court. The Tyrone County jury deliberated for less than 3 hours before recommending the death penalty after Horner pled guilty to capital murder and aggravated kidnapping. The jury deliberated. The jury deliberated for less than 3 hours before returning with their verdict. Multiple reports describing it as a swift decision after several weeks of testimony from investigators, experts, and both families. This shows us that the jury never fucking believed him. They never did. They're like, we don't believe you, bitch. We don't. We don't. It shows us that, hey, they don't believe him. They never did. Less than 3 hours is diabolical, in my opinion. But props to them. The video recording that left the jurors weeping. This was like, I think, the last video recording from his truck, basically, of when he was her last moments and what happened to her and the killing and all of that, her final words and shit like that. This is what left them to cry. I couldn't find the video online, probably because they didn't want it released in the public. But the video recording that left the jurors weeping in the Tanner Horner case captured the final moments of 7-year-old Athena Strand inside his FedEx delivery truck on November 30th, 2022. Content of the video. The hour-long audio recorded after Horner covered the truck's dash camera detailed the kidnapping, the abduction, and the murder of Strand, including Horner telling her to remove her shirt and threatened her if she screamed, and playing Jingle Bell Rock while she cried and screamed for her mother. Before we read the courtroom reaction, I want you to understand for a minute. I want all of us to close our eyes. A 7-year-old girl was kidnapped. He covered the truck dash, so it's like, you can't, I'm not guilty, but it's detailed. You could hear everything to the point. It's very detailed that he had Athena, kidnapped her, abducted her, and murdered her. You could hear it. Telling her to remove her shirt. Remember, that's important. Even though he has 3 past sexual assault allegations, evidence of sexual assault on her and his clothes that might get him arrested for sexual assault, and you could hear him threatening her if she screamed, and he was playing Jingle Bell Rock. He was being an insensitive little bitch. Jingle Bell Rock? Jingle Bell Rock. That's a Christmas song. Christmas. While you're killing a 7-year-old. Sorry, I'm getting worked up on this. And she cried for her mother, which she screamed and cried for her mother, which shows that like she was scared. Okay, the courtroom reactions. During the sentencing trial in April 2026, the jury were visibly distraught, sobbing and reaching for tissues. The judge warned observers of the graphic nature of the evidence, and Strand's parents left the courtroom before it was played. Basically, the judge was like, yo, if you don't want to hear it, you can leave. Her parents left because obviously they don't want to be there. They don't want to hear that. the jury was crying, reaching for tissues. That shows how much it affected them and how guilty he was. He killed a 7-year-old. The outcome, it was very graphic and it was not the best. Outcome following this and other evidence, Horner was sentenced to death on May 5th, 2026 for capital murder of Athena Strand. Sorry, I'm repeating this to see if I need to read it out loud. This is just like the overview. I'm gonna read this because the crime part is important. Tanner Lynn Horner, born on August 8th, 1991, is a former FedEx delivery driver who was sentenced to death by lethal injection on May 5th, 2026 for kidnapping and murder of Athena Strand in Paradise, Texas. Horner pled guilty to capital murder and aggravated kidnapping on April 7th, 2026. 2 days after my birthday, but moving on. Shifting the trial into a punishment phase where the jury unanimously I said that right, recommended the death penalty. The crime, November 30th, 2022, Horner delivered a Christmas package containing a Barbie dolls to Athena Strand's home. That shows that was going to be her Christmas gift and she never got to open it because he kidnapped her. That man, I'm going to kill him myself, but he's already dead. Cops, if you're watching this for legal purposes, in GTA, in Fortnite, in Call of Duty, not in... Thank you. Anyway, he abducted the child from her driveway, stating later that he intentionally claimed to have hit her with his truck but actually kidnapped her unarmed. So he claimed he hit her when in reality he didn't. And maybe that was his way of like saying, oh, that's the reason why I have her. No, bitch, no. He strangled her to death inside his delivery van, sang along to Jingle Bell Rock during the attack, and disposed of her nude body in the Trinity River. He was arrested 2 days later after leading the police to the body. So, she was naked. She removed her shirt. Sexual assault. He was singing along to Jingle Bell Rock, which is a Christmas song. This man has no remorse. The amount of pain that family must have felt. Ooh, that man deserves to rot. Trial evidence and defense. Jurors had heard disturbing audio and video from Horner's van, including Athena asking if he was a kidnapper and begging for her mother. Shows that she was scared and that she didn't know what was going on and where she was going. The defense, led by attorneys Stephen Goebel and Suzanne Anderson, argued for a life sentence by presenting evidence that Horner's autism spectrum disorder, severe mental illnesses, and childhood trauma, including high lead exposure and abusive upbringing. His mother, Melissa Horner, testified about her own drug abuse during the pregnancy and Horner's history about being bullied. Investigators also noted that Horner's claims of an alter ego named Zero during the police interviews. First of all, I don't think he has an alter ego named Zero. I think that's just an excuse to get away with murder and aggravated kidnapping. I do feel bad for his upbringing. No child should go through that, yes. But that doesn't that's not an excuse. That's not a way to, that doesn't like push away the excuses, the guilt, the fact that he committed murder because of his upbringing. Like, his upbringing, yes, it's bad for him. I am so sorry he had to go through that. No normal, like, I wish that upon no one, but that doesn't mean that's an excuse. That was not an excuse for murder. That isn't, never will be an excuse for murder. He knew his differences between right and wrong. Like, he knew left and right. That, that's not an excuse, and that's diabolical. Additionally, allegations and aftermath. Although the not prosecuted separately, the testimony revealed that Horner was charged with sexual assault of a child in 2013 and 2014, involving two different 16-year-olds. That shows us he probably did rape Athena because he has the history of it. You didn't, don't hold that against me, please. I'm not 100% sure. It's not confirmed. Forensic analysis found a male DNA on Athena's rape kit, and blood and semen were detected on Horner's FedEx shirt. Okay, that shows us that he killed her and that he probably raped her because there was his semen or some sort of semen on him, and might have been on her as well. Though he denied sexual assault of the victim. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. My mom texted. Though he denied sexual assault on the victim following the sentencing, Athena's family addressed the court, commending. I'm not pronouncing that word. Sorry, I'm not pronouncing that word correct. Sorry. Horner for destroying their lives. Horner execution date has not been set yet. Some quotes I found was, first quote, which I thought had the most impact, was, "I just want to know where my daughter's shirt is," said Athena Strand's mother during her testimony. Because, she knew he wasn't going to answer. I'm going to give you context for that quote. She was saying, they're like, what's one thing you want to know? And she's like, yeah, I don't know. He's going to be selfish. He's not going to answer, but I want to know where my daughter's shirt is, which is a very valid question. The second quote is, ultimately, it's about locating Athena and getting the truth, Texas Ranger Job Espinoza said. Another quote is, I played his game and I spoke to zero. Espinoza referring to Horner's claimed alter ego. Another quote was from an FBI agent, Dave. The quote, Dave just from an Another quote is from an FBI agent, Dave Rogers, describing finding Athena's body. He said, and I quote, I remember finding her being cold to the touch, angel-like. That one quote almost made me cry during this research. Also, y'all, this is gonna be a heavy topic. I forgot to tell y'all in the beginning, this is gonna be a heavy topic. Feel free to sit down in the beginning and just pause in between if needed. But yeah, sorry, I just got a text. But yeah, just sit down in between. Take breaks if needed, because this is gonna be a heavy one. Come back next week if you can't handle this one. If you can't continue handling this one. Another quote, which is an audio recording captured from Horner's FedEx truck, which he told to Athena, "You're really pretty, you know that?" Which also proves that he said she's pretty. She's a minor, 7 years old, but that kind of says he found her really attractive and might have wanted to sexually assault her. That's just what I think. Another quote, I don't like how there's a space right there, but we just fixed that. Thank you. Another quote was Horner speaking to the police while Athena was still missing. I was wondering what all this was about. Are you serious? He literally said that knowing damn well what this was about and where she was. Another quote from Horner's mother describing his childhood, he wanted to get along with people. Side eye. Another quote was testimony from Horner's mother. Actually, I'm not gonna read that. I'm not gonna read the childhood shit because I don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna lie. Actually, I'm gonna read it. Why not? Another quote from her talking about his childhood was, "I was sad to watch. They didn't like him at all." Another quote from her is, "I'm not proud of anything I did." Another quote from his mother was, "I'm wearing my shame like a badge right now." And then a quote from Horner describing his alter ego, "When Zero takes over, dot 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 dot." Another quote is from the TDCJ official Timothy Fitzpatrick, mispronouncing that probably. "Death row by nature is far more structured." Another quote is from defense attorney John Helms. "The problem is that the crime itself was just so horrific." I'm glad we both realized that. I'm glad we realized that. Yet you still chose to defend him. I have beef with you. This is just making these quotes. I cried during these quotes. Another quote was from Horner's cousin. Testimony during the testimony from Horner's cousin Billy about how he was getting assaulted when he was younger. He said he was bigger than me. I went along with it. Another quote from Horner's cousin Billy explaining why he testified was, "The fact that he killed a kid and the truth needs to be told." This is the same cousin who got sexually assaulted by Horner when he was a child. Another quote was a testimony summarized by NBC5 coverage. The quote was, there's no explaining away his violent act." Fair. I'm so glad we realized that. Another quote is from defense attorney Suzanne Anderson. "They start to see themselves as an outcast." Another quote is from prosecutor James Satin. "He's proof of why there is still evil in society." Another quote is prosecutor said Horner told Athena inside the truck, "Don't scream or I will hurt you." Fair, he did say that. Another quote was Horner during interrogation, "All I want is just one last Christmas with my son. Yet you took one last Christmas away from Athena and her family. You took away her Christmas. The fact that her dad can't walk her down the aisle. You are a selfish little bitch after you committed murder. You don't get to ask for one last Christmas with your son. Go die in a ditch. I hope you get assaulted so you know what it feels like, and I hope you get killed so you know what it feels like. A little bit of taste of your own goddamn fucking medicine." Next. Texas Ranger Job Espinoza describing Horner acting as Zero, his demeanor and physical demeanors change. Another quote was Horner testifying about his childhood. He wanted to get along with people. Another quote was Horner discussing bullying, which was, it was very hard to watch, very sad. Another quote was Athena's mother apologizing in court. "I don't know what to say. I'm sorry." It's okay, we forgive your apology. It's not your fault, but you should have done better to raise this kid. Another quote was from Athena Strand. Athena Strand in audio played for jurors. "Are you kidnapping? Are you a kidnapper?" Another quote is Athena heard asking in the van recording, "Where are you taking me?" That shows us she didn't know what was going on. She didn't know what was going on. She had zero idea. She was scared. She was lost. She did not know what's gonna happen to her. Sorry, my eyeball is itching. I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Okay. Another quote from Athena is asking in the recording. No, I already said that one. Another quote is a summary of an investigator's testimony. "He continuously lied during questioning. He killed a 7-year-old, strangled her, and abducted her." I don't know what you were expecting. Another quote was from psychiatric Dr. Ellen Ryan describing Horner, severely compromised individual. I'm sorry, one of the emotional final remarks highlighted from the testimony. Other quote is, the problem is that the crime itself was just so horrific. I believe that's what I was supposed to say. My just spelling sucks. Defense attorney John Helms said. Dr. Michael, I'm not pronouncing his last name, when asked about experiencing with violent offenders, he said, in a nutshell, a lot. Another quote was, the amount of suffering that Athena went through has some features of sadism. I can't pronounce his last name. Another quote was from him too, is, it's my opinion that there is a probability that Mr. Hornet will commit future acts of violence. Another quote from him is, oh, that's from Timothy. Another quote from Timothy is Timothy Patrickson. I don't give a fuck. Timothy. Death row by nature is far more structured. We already read that. Another quote from him is, the best motivator is going to be the possibility of parole. Another quote is from Dr. Jolie Brams. I think Tanner would have taken a very different development trajectory. I don't give a fuck. Another quote was from Dr. Brams discussing Horner's alter ego, Zero. I don't think he really has another person. I'm so glad we both agree on that one, sweetheart. I am so glad. So glad. Because he doesn't. And that's just his way of fucking escaping that shit of him being a fucking him being a murderer and kidnapping Athena Strand. Shut the fuck up, you insolent bitch who sang fucking Jingle Bells. Fuck off. Sorry, I realize that this is becoming a lot of me swearing and talking about my own feelings, but it's okay. It's my channel, so get the fuck out. Another quote is from Dr. Brams about Horner's impairments. This is absolutely not an excuse. I'm so glad we agree. So glad we agree. Because that was not an excuse. He knows the difference between left and right. He can fucking do shit himself. Another quote was, it was a testimony from Horner's former teacher. This young man should have never been in that truck by himself. I'm so glad we agree with that one. Another quote is from Horner's mother crying on the stand. I totally forgot to put that there. Thank you. I'm so mad at him. I want to tear his ass up. Ass being redacted, of course. Another quote was from Horner's mother about Horner's mother. She's just a baby. So glad we agree on that one too. She's a 7-year-old child. A literal baby who has not started her period yet. I mean, moving on. Another quote was Horner's mother, not Athena's teacher, recalling Athena's final day at school. I love you and we will have a better day tomorrow. Did you have it tomorrow? No, I did not. Exchange between prosecutors and Athena's teacher. Athena's teacher, another quote is Athena's teacher describing how the tragedy changed her life for the better. Before Athena and after Athena, assuming there was pictures. Another quote was speaking in court. Athena is more than a headline and more than a story, which is very true. She was a human, she was a child, and she deserved so much better. Another quote is from Sheriff warning Madeline Candy before identifying Athena's body. She looks too bad, which I think he means like dead, like Angel. Like, this is not how we wanted to see her in the first place. Strangled, not okay. Another quote is from Athena's uncle Elijah Strand during victim impact testimony. There are no words that truly capture the devastation that Tanner Horner caused us. Another quote from Elijah Strand addressing the Horner directly: "You did not just take a life, you destroyed a family." Another quote from Elijah speaking about Athena: "Her name will forever be remembered." Another quote from Elijah Elijah Strand to Horner during sentencing: "Everyone will forget you." And then another quote from him, Elijah Strand, concluding his statement: "You will feel the wrath of God." A quote from prosecutor James Stilton in closing arguments: "The only outcome is the death penalty." Another quote from Athena's teacher describing her students returning after the murder: "The classroom felt heavy." Another quote is from Horner recalling bullying, according to his grandmother: "It's okay, Mimi, I'm used to it." Another quote is from a retired pathologist: "This young man should have never been in that truck by himself." Agree. Beth testifying about Horner's limitations. Another quote, we're not going to read all the quotes, but another quote is: "A direct apology to Athena's family from his grandmother. We think about her and you guys. Every day we think about her and you guys." Another quote is from Horner's grandmother addressing the Strand family: "I just want you to know that I have not forgotten you or your daughter." Some videos, yes, there's a lot of videos. It's kind of important, not gonna lie. Yeah. This is a video of him finding, this is a video of FBI agent finding her body. We're not gonna sit through the whole video because this video is kind of hella long. I apologize deeply for that. This is the truck. And then if we go, okay, he says that he's gonna say a lot, but he said there's first responders there. There's a, oopsies, I dropped y'all. There's first responders there. There's a road going down, and then her body was found behind that cement block. So if we go right there, which we're not gonna watch the whole video because I could not care less, respectfully. Could not care. I do care, but we don't have time for the whole video. This was the medical examiner is going to be explaining basically the process of details of how to find like the autopsy.
In your report, and I believe we're still on page 1, that you talked about the commonly in an autopsy, if the person had been wearing clothes at the time that they were deceased, what would you receive? Just the body or something else?
If they had clothing on at the time that they were pronounced, the clothing would still be on the body, or clothing that may be with the body come with the body.
And was any clothing brought to you with the body of Athena Strand?
No, sir.
Now, with regard to the evidence of the body itself, can you just kind of give us, you weighed the body?
Yes, sir.
What was the weight of this little girl?
The weight is 67 pounds.
And what was the height or measurement?
52 inches.
And in layman's terms, or feet and inches?
Oh man, maybe I do math. I'm showing my low. That was so embarrassing.
You didn't go to Texas.
Sorry, I'm gonna skip ahead
In addition,
to the description.
What was some of the observations that you made during the external examination of Athena's body?
so I already mentioned that she was received naked, no clothing received with the body. There's no jewelry on the body. In addition, like I said, the surfaces of the body were covered with brown dirt or silt, and there was fragments of brown vegetation within the scalp hair and on the surfaces of her body. She also had what we call pruning or washerwoman changes in the skin of her hands and feet. Other than that, she had some evidence of injury, which is much more extensive than just what I'm describing.
And let's talk about that. Not specifically what the injuries are at this point, but when you open the body bag, when you see the body of this little girl, describe for the jury sort of where you're.
Okay, we're gonna leave that there for this video. I'm not gonna play all the videos. These videos can all be found on YouTube. Same thing with the website, same thing on the information. I'm just giving you guys a brief overview. Before we watch another video, I want to show you guys the evidence we have. This is a recording that I recorded. You probably can't hear shit because the volume probably is most likely not on. He's just driving in front of her house. She's right there. He's going here, going. Package, Christmas dolls, and then he didn't fully leave. Fully. Basically, he's just been there. And then also during a defense attorney, we want to look at how this judge does not look amused during the defense. Same thing with another one here. He does not look amused whatsoever. Another video. We're gonna watch like two more.
Okay, I can't remember exactly which.
This is basically evidence found by the FBI. Her sock by the riverbed, her sock, her underwear, her pants, again, her pants with the sock, a jacket, his FedEx jacket to be exact. This, I think, was him disposing of the evidence after everything. So that's some evidence found by the FBI. This is some more evidence of him. This is him having her in the back. Obviously, it's a night vision because we can't see for shit, but he looks not remorseful. This is the testimony. I'm not gonna play any of the testimonies, but that's some evidence right there.
In court while hearing Athena Strand's heartbreaking question. The 7-year-old asking Tanner Horner, "Are you a kidnapper?" before she was killed by the delivery driver, who pled guilty to the young girl's murder. With the Texas jury now tasked with deciding his sentence, as prosecutors present chilling evidence from Strand's final moments, including that audio captured inside Horner's truck after he abducted the child in November.
I want to see if there's a cleaning video of him cleaning his truck, because he did clean his truck after the murder. He did. Okay, the video's not loading. Yeah, this is him cleaning his truck after the murder. So get away with the evidence. Okay. Smoking a cigarette. Actually, I'm not gonna cut that. You guys are. There's no point. So he's currently smoking a cigarette. He's driving. He looks back. He stops at a gas station. It's loading. Hold up. He goes back with a trash bag. That person fucking. God. He's cleaning. There's spray. He's wiping shit down. This is just him cleaning, throws the trash away, and then goes. This is him the next day while search parties are looking for the missing girl, him telling them that he has more packages to deliver. Completely unremorseful, by the way. I can find the exact moment. You find the exact. Basically, a bunch of people. Okay, that's enough for the videos. Again, judge does not feel concerned, does not feel happy about that. Athena, this is from the website. It basically says Athena Strand's stepmother thought she was simply hiding when 7-year-old disappeared from their home in rural Texas on November 30th. Literally more information, basically. And then this one, just some websites I'm gonna show y'all, and then I'm gonna end the video because it's getting really long, unfortunately. Basically, these are just websites you guys can go to. I'm gonna end. Cancel. 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 Thank you. I'm gonna end that there. Y'all were really helpful. Lots of love. There will be another part. Let me know if you guys like videos like this. I will try to do them more often. If there is another video, I'm just saying, like, I will let y'all know if there needs to be another video. Lots of love. Be safe. Know your surroundings. Know who's a predator or not. Lots of love. Don't die, people. Please, I beg of you. Be safe. This one was a really tough case. Come back for next week's. Okay, bye bye.